time it is. Marvin Devine, Hoover, Axel, and you know how we do. Yeah, I got the juice. Whip game cool, make them look like cool. Always play it cool, that's the biggest rule. Forget what they doing, keep on doing.
Know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with ice. Cold, these brothers my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with ice. Ride or die, 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 ride or die. Cold, these brothers my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta ride or die.
missed you guys so much. And welcome back Monday night, every other Monday, to what was formerly known as Sisters Against Kidney Disease, but now known as Bella's Hope for Healing. Let me shout out to Jared with all the new intro stuff. I was so engaged in that for a minute. I had to really pay attention because there was so much new stuff that I've seen, guys, because as you know, I have been on such a lengthy hiatus, which let me say was much needed. After I got vaccinated in February, I think my first shot was the 5th of February of Pfizer, and then the second one was the 25th. And my nephrologist gave me the green light to go ahead after 2 weeks. I waited 2.5 to reach full efficacy, and I jetted home to see my family, my kids. I had not seen my children and grandchildren and my daughter and son-in-law since November of 2019, you guys. So I was frantic. I was so excited. And so I was literally gone the first time for a month, came back home for a few weeks, and was right back out again, back to Chicago, and then to my son's and his family's home in St. Louis. And I just had such an amazing time. It warmed my heart to be around my children and just be in their presence. I didn't even have to say anything. I just enjoyed looking at them a lot of times. I attended 2 graduations. Both my granddaughters had graduations. And so, but let me say this, I'm back in full effect, and we are about to do some new things here. I'm about to lay some new things on you guys. And so let me just start by sharing with you why I wanted to change the name of the show. First of all, I want to give a shout out of RIP to Cy. You guys know Cy was the original hostess of Sisters Against Kidney Disease. And unfortunately, during the time, actually, I was in Chicago, and I found out she had transitioned. So I never actually got to meet her or speak with her, but I did check out one of her shows, and she was amazing. And I am so sorry that she did not get to receive a transplant, but God has plans for us all. We are all under his umbrella. And so I just still give love to her and her son. I know she left a son behind, but I wanted to branch off into a different name because I did not want men to really think that Sisters Against Kidney Disease was exclusively for women. And I was getting a lot of that. A couple of people inboxed me about that. And so I kind of felt it was time to make some changes. God was leading me to some changes. Initially, my aim for the show has always been to advocate, of course, for health, wellness, as well as focused in kidney transplantation and, of course, organ donation. But God gave me a different vision to expand on this. And so what I am doing is opening this up to other areas of health issues, because we've got all types of transplantation. And of course, we have a plethora of health issues: heart disease, liver disease, lung disease, you name it. And the really ironic thing is that many of these illnesses oftentimes can send people into kidney failure. I have an awesome friend who is a liver recipient, and she started to go into a rejection, and she had to go on dialysis. It started to mess with her kidneys. So this is what I'm saying. I want to open this up. I want to talk about that. We're going to talk about things not only from the physical standpoint, we're going to get into some mental things too, that the mental issues people are dealing with. We're going to talk about food and health, how the importance of eating healthy and how that can in fact affect our health by not eating healthier. So I've got a lineup of some great people that are going to be coming on here, guys. We're going to do some panel discussions. This is going to be off the chain, really. So please keep with me, stick with me, guys, because I'm going to be pumping up the volume on this big time. And we just going to, as who's that? Will Smith said, we about to get jiggy up in here. Okay. So I just am thankful that you guys are still here with me. And so please make sure that you ask plenty of questions, give comments, smash that share button, guys, hit the like button, let your family and friends know. Everybody may not be dealing with this particular illness, but one thing is for sure, we all know somebody who is, without a doubt. And so life is no longer as we know it since the pandemic. So we really, really have to do our absolute best to stay healthy. And the best way to do that is to stay informed, family. And I am praying that all of you have been vaccinated. I know that people have their thoughts and opinions on that. I do, I get it. Some really legitimately can't get it because of health issues and that prevent them from getting like asthma, really bad asthma and things. I understand, but I ask you to really search your heart and search. If you have a relationship with the Lord, search him, seek him on that, because the bottom line is our lives are not in our hands anyway. They're in the risen King's hands. Okay. So we ain't going nowhere until he says it's time. You know, so I just want you to have faith in things that we have faith in every day. When we go to sit in a chair, we don't think about, wow, I wonder, is that chair going to hold my big butt up if I sit down in it? We just sit down. And guess what? It holds us up. You know, we eat in restaurants, and I know I never put any morsel of food in my mouth without praying over it, because I don't know what they're doing back there in that kitchen, right? But we have faith that it's fine, that we're going to be okay. So I just want you guys to have that faith, as the scripture says, that's small as a mustard seed. Okay. So yeah. Wow. Let's see. So here's one thing I want to make mention of before I have my guest for the night come out. Okay, how's everybody doing? How are you guys doing? And let me know how you've been. Inbox me. You know, I know some of you have really been reaching out to me while I was gone, you know, and checking in with me to make sure I was okay. Thank you so much for that. And I checked in with some of my transplant community, because some of them were having some problems. So I hope you guys are doing better than you were. Amen. Steve Belcher, our Steve Belcher, Director of Urban Health Media Outreach. If you did not get his book, you guys. This book has a lot of helpful information in it. Even if you've already been transplanted, it is a great read. And we know reading is power, it's knowledge. You can bless someone else with this book. And I haven't finished it because I just got it when I got back in Tampa. But I am into chapter 4. And one of the things that I love most is, some of my favorite is about talking about patient rights and responsibilities. Family, this is critical right here. You know, you have to be your own best advocate. So I implore you to really get this book, to tell you these things about your rights. I mean, there's a lot of things that we're not told as new victims of diseases, and all diseases, not just kidney disease, but especially pertaining to dialysis, where you know that that's true. Medicare automatically kicks in, but there's so much that you need to read about that and know about that. And we rely on the transplant coordinators. I am not dissing transplant coordinators. I think they're amazing, but some people can get very repetitive in their careers, and they can leave critical information out that is very important. So this is why you have to be your own advocate and read about it. And it's all in Steve's book. He puts it in here. And also something that I didn't know, which really struck home with me back when I was diagnosed and facing dialysis, about treatment options for kidney failure, hemodialysis versus peritoneal. Now, That's not for everybody, peritoneal. So the good thing too is that it tells you all about that in this book. So again, support him with his book and have that information on hand so that you can share it with others. Okay, so moving right along, let me tell you a little bit about my guest. I did choose to this first show that I'm back to go ahead and we're going to talk about kidney disease. She has an amazing story. So Susan Eshkar is my guest tonight, and she resides in Santa Cruz, California, with her husband, Andy. They have 2 children. Susan was an educator a teacher, and she taught in so many different grades. I couldn't keep up with them, so I couldn't tell you all of them, but I love the fact that she chose to teach in various arenas. A lot of people like to stick with the babies. Some like to stick with, grammar, middle school, kindergarten, high school, and so on and so forth. She was in all those arenas, and I have mad respect for her for that. She didn't pick necessarily, to my knowledge, a favorite. She also formerly used to live here in Florida for a very long time, for 23 years before she relocated to California. And she continued to teach school at that time. I believe it was for an additional 10 years. She discovered in 1994 that she had polycystic kidney disease. She had several friends who got tested to be transplanted, to be donors, just like I did, which was really awesome. But unfortunately, just as my situation, they were ruled out for various reasons. So she was then quickly approaching the need for dialysis, where we start to really, those creatinine numbers start to really skyrocket. And then a miracle happened. A miracle happened on February 14th, Valentine's Day of this year, and she became a new creation. Okay, so I'm gonna let her tell you the rest. That's why she's here. And please give a warm welcome to my guest for the night, Susan Eshkar. Susan, hello.
Hey, Bella. Great introduction. I'm good. Thank you.
Oh,
I'm
you're
great.
welcome. You are very welcome. I thank you so much for taking some time. I know you're on vacay to join it with us. And just, I was so, as I told you when we initially spoke on the phone, that I was just so intrigued by your story. And I'm very excited for you to share that with the audience. And so what I'd like to do is ask you, if you wouldn't mind, to start out by sharing with us how your journey with PKD began.
Okay, so like I said, that I found out in '94. I really didn't want to know. My father had PKD. He had a lot of problems with his kidneys when I was a child. And at that point, it wasn't diagnosed at all. So when he had quite a few operations also, and he was diagnosed probably when I was in high school. And we just he was doing okay. We had to watch his water intake and all that stuff. And the potassium and potatoes, and had to soak those overnight or whatever. And then my brother, I have a younger brother, and he was starting to show some kind of he was in some pain. I didn't have any pain, so when I found out in '94, I was, like I said, I was in denial. Didn't think it would happen to me, which it did. And my mother would say, stop putting your head in the sand. You need to find out. I didn't think that my life would change that much if I found out. But I went ahead and, found out, and then didn't have a problem. When I moved to California, I had one nephrologist. And then when I moved to Santa Cruz, I had another one. What I would have liked to have known from the first nephrologist is that if I watched my animal intake, protein intake, animal protein intake, that I could hold off having to either be dialyzed or have kidney failure. And so when I did go to Santa Cruz and I went to a new nephrologist, he did tell me, and at that point I went on, I was a vegetarian for 3 to 4 years. And that helped stave off a little bit of the decline.
So you said, you said that your brother has PKD also, which I actually, had the pleasure of talking to him. Now, I do know that PKD is pretty much definitely a genetic, for sure, kidney disease. With it, does as far as the symptoms, is pain a part of the symptoms of PKD? Like, can you tell us what were some of the things that you were, or maybe if it wasn't you guys were experiencing, other than just being tested that confirmed that you had it?
Right. I didn't have any pain. I had nothing. I had to have an ultrasound to find out that I had it.
Wow.
I didn't even have, the bulging cyst yet, that come over your kidneys and your liver. My brother, however, did have pain. He had to go, I think he went up to the Cleveland Clinic and had to have some nerves cut. So some people have pain, some people don't. I was always surprised. He always had a lot.
So was that pain that he was experiencing in the areas where our kidneys are housed, or just pain all over?
No, it's mostly where the kidneys are housed. A lot of back pain. At one point, they were trying to figure out what they could do for him, and they cut nerves, and then they took out his spleen. Right now, he is on dialysis in Tampa. Waiting for a transplant through Largo.
Okay. Oh, Largo Medical Center. Okay. Yeah.
Wow. Surgery for like a little skin thing. So he's waiting on that.
Well, I'm not dissing Largo, but I would have rather seen him at TGH for sure.
Well, he tried. He wasn't getting the education that he wanted. He really did try, and that's why I contacted him. Anybody can call him back, a social worker, somebody, because he did all the tests there. Never got answered.
Wow. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm just happy that he's on the list, and I'm praying that he's going to get his kidney, which is what I shared with him when I spoke with him. But okay, next question did you actually end up, I know you had some false starts like I did with some potential donors, but did you have to, like for me, I had 4 potentials, and my whole purpose was to try my best to avoid having to go on dialysis. You know what I mean? And so my numbers had not yet, my creatinine hadn't risen to the point yet where I just, oh God, you got to go on dialysis right away. So the unfortunate thing is that, as you know too, that process can be lengthy. One falls through, then okay, here comes another, then they got to go through the whole thing. And before I knew it, boom, now those numbers are, wow, they just shot up like really quick. And so I had to actually still end up going on dialysis for 6 months while my godson was getting the testing, and it worked. That's who gave me my kidney. But did that same kind of thing happen to you? And did you end up having to go on dialysis?
Okay, so this is the story. So in 2017, in California, it rained like the whole entire winter. And we have a son in Arizona. And so my husband says, this is crazy. I want to play golf, So we bought a small condo in Scottsdale.
Mhm.
So this was like 2017, 2018. And it was kind of serendipitous. We're there. And I'm thinking, we have the Mayo Clinic here.
Mhm.
I'm going to be proactive.
Mhm.
And I'm going to be an advocate for myself. And I'm going to try and start early. Because I wasn't near the line where you have to, when you're at 20, your GFR is 20. So I was proactive. I went to the Mayo. I had all my testing done. And it's extensive. It's extensive.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I had flyers out. I was sending things. I tried to go I got contacted the Chase Center to try to see if I can put up my, Susan needs a kidney at the Warriors, where the Warriors play. They wouldn't do that. But I mean, I did. I was such an advocate. I had it on social media. I was out there. So I did have about 4 people get tested. And, I was doing a lot of this before my GFR dropped or my creatinine went up. So I did that. And then, so I lived in Santa Cruz, and my nephrologist said, why don't you try, California Pacific Medical Center, which is, the initials are CPMC, in San Francisco. And I never even heard of it. I mean, I heard of UCSF and whatever. So I called a friend of mine. It was a liver specialist at that hospital. It turned out to be that hospital. And he just raved about it. And I was like, oh, okay, I feel better. I'm over in Santa Cruz. I don't know everything that's going on in the city. So I did give them all my information. And they just wanted me to talk to a couple of doctors, which I did. And then I was on the list there. I was on the list a lot longer, over a year and a half, at the Mayo Clinic. So I was higher up in Mayo Clinic than I was at CPMC. But I always was trying to find a living donor. That's what I wanted. And then when it was getting kind of close, I was like, okay, I'll take any donor I can get. Beggars can't be choosy. So it was imperative that I had a kidney, because I was doing everything I can before having to go on dialysis. So, and then that was what leads up to my story, if that's what you're ready for that.
Yeah. So, and I'm going to thank you. I'm going to jump back in with that. So you were or were not on dialysis? Forgive me for the redundancy.
So I met with a surgeon to have the MRI of both of my arms.
Okay.
I was meeting with him to find out where we were going to place the fistula.
Right.
And I had my appointment, but I didn't have to go.
Wow. Okay.
That's close. We're talking.
Wow. Gotcha.
5 days or so. I mean, I was getting out on a Monday. Thursday was my appointment to meet with the surgeon to find out where the fistula was going, the shunt, and then schedule the surgery.
Wow. So you were like, everything was moving forward. You were right there for the dialysis. I mean, it was about to go down.
Yeah. My GFR at that point was 13.
Wow.
So I was.
Yeah. What was your creatinine at that time?
3.
Do you remember?
4, almost 4, I think. I don't know. I was really young with the GFR.
Yeah. How were you feeling? Were you feeling ill? Because I mean, when mine started to get higher, that's when I started to feel sick more. Not me personally, nauseous and just felt yucky every single day.
Right. Those are the natural symptoms. I wasn't there yet.
Wow.
I wasn't there yet. I was tired. I would take a nap every day. And I just thought, it's kind of normal until after I had a kidney transplant, and then I'm walking on the beach and I'm like, oh, okay. But I wasn't ill yet.
Okay.
I wasn't there yet.
Okay, so you said that you were right there though at the doorway of the process of about to begin dialysis. Lord knows, When you come to that doorway, let me tell you, that's so surreal, when it's time to sit in that chair and have that cannulator put in your arm. But you got right there, and something happened that I definitely call a miracle. So can you tell us at that point what happened and exactly how that went down?
Okay, so we have some friends that were in a group that we had in San Jose that we would do holidays with.
Mm-hmm.
And it was quite a few families. And, we've known each other since I moved to California. So it's been quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's been like 25 years.
Yeah.
Or 24, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So on February 9th, and this is 2020, not 2021.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
2020.
This is 2020. So I get a text from this husband of one of the families.
Yeah.
And he said, "It's so sad about their daughter."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "What?" I didn't know what was going on. I moved over to Santa Cruz. I didn't know what was happening. And he says, "Well, my wife will call you and tell you." In the meantime, I call my husband to come upstairs because I know there's something serious. So he comes upstairs, and the wife calls me and tells me that their daughter had an accident.
Car accident?
No, it was a drinking accident.
Oh, okay.
She overindulged, and she passed out at home, and her roommate found her, and she was rushed to the hospital into the ICU. And then maybe a few days later, 4 or 5 days, her eyes opened up. So they thought, she's coming to.
Yeah.
And this was on February 9th, and Sunday that morning, the parents were told that there was no activity in her brain. So at that point, when she called me, she's telling me, through her grief, that she wanted me, because she knew I was in search, of a kidney, to have their daughter's kidney. So I'm crying, and it's just unbelievable. I mean,
yes.
It's bittersweet, sweet for me. So they tell me that, to get a hold of the hospital where I'm going to be, where the transplant will occur, get a hold of them. Another friend of theirs called. We think he has the same blood type as I do. And they said, positive or negative. And I said, well, I'm negative, but it doesn't matter. As long as it's A, we're in good shape. So I then get a hold, it's a Sunday night, try to get a hold of the surgeon. Finally get a hold of somebody who was wonderful. I mean, try to get a hold of anybody over there. And they go into the computer and they put in my information, and they go and get a hold of the hospital where this young woman was. And that's that. And so the next day I plan on going to visit her. She's on life support. On my way there, the father asked me for my Social Security number, make sure that everything's in play. I give it to them, and then I said, I'm almost there. I'm coming to the hospital. I made brownies the night before to have, for anybody that comes to visit. And I go and I visit her. I wanted to say goodbye. I wanted to thank her from the bottom of my heart, and let her know how grateful I am.
Wow.
So that happened. I then leave, and I don't know exactly, when they're going to harvest her organs. Turns out they also harvested her other kidney and her heart. And so her kidney and her heart went to a child in, I think, San Diego area.
Wow.
So I go home, and then we're not really sure about when everything's going to happen. But on Tuesday, the father gets a hold of me and says that we're a match. So that was, I was like, well, that's great.
Yeah.
So, they're waiting for relatives to come in, say their goodbyes. Their the grandmother from LA. It was just it's very emotional, very sad. My husband wants to pay his respects and visit and see the family. What we're doing is we'll be on our way up to Oakland where my son and daughter-in-law live. And he wants to stop by. I wait in the car because I didn't want them to feel like I was like a vulture or somebody there waiting for them. Hey, we're pulling the plug.
Right.
I just stayed my distance, and the mother said to me right away, "Where's Susan?" So Annie says, "They want you to come in." So then I go into the hospital, and immediately she grabs my hand and she tells me a story. She tells us a story about the Donor West person. Donor West is the organization that deals with the donors that are going to harvest the organs and give it to recipients. They do all the paperwork and find recipients for the other organs also. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Yeah.
So Donor West was there. Not a very friendly man. I didn't know if he needed anything else from me. Oh, that was past. So the mother starts telling us the story about this Donor West individual that didn't want me to have her kidney. He wanted somebody that was higher on the list.
Can I jump in for a second, Sue? I know that when I had, when you sent me an email, I asked you, remember, send me a brief synopsis of your story. And I remember reading in that something that you said about there being a little bit of drama in some aspect or something. And you said, I'll tell you about that though. Was this by any chance that drama that you're speaking? Okay, because it sounds like drama. Okay.
Yeah, it's drama. So this man was saying that she shouldn't get the kidney. It should be somebody higher on the list. That the parents don't have the right to say who gets their child's kidney because she's over 18. Okay. She happens to have been 25. So the mother happens to be in the medical field and knows her rights and has dealt with this before and said, I know that I have the right to say who gets my daughter's kidney. She went above him to a superior that worked. He used to work, matter of fact, at CPMC. He was now at Stanford. And he, I forgot his name. It'll come to me, his name. Anyway, so he gets a hold of the mom, comes down from Palo Alto to see the mom, to hold her hand and say, you have every right to say who gets your daughter's kidney.
Yeah.
And I knew none of this.
Wow.
So when I did come down and I hear the story, I was like, it was just overwhelming at that point. I didn't even process the whole thing right away because it's like, whoa. And it's quite an interesting story and there was a lot of drama. He was let go. And then they had another man from Donor West that was warm and sweet. And he was so excited to meet me because they never meet the recipients.
Right.
They only see the donors.
Yeah.
And he took a picture of the two of us, because that never happened. And so I guess that's what happened. And then, so I went up to, we all said our goodbyes again. My husband said his goodbyes and thanked her. And we went up to Oakland. And then that night, probably around 9 or 10 o'clock, we get the phone call that they want me in the hospital at 1 a.m. That the surgery is going to be Friday on Valentine's Day, 2020. At first it was at 10 o'clock, and then when that morning he moved it to 7:30. So it was quite quick.
Wow. And here you are doing.
I never gotten, a 25-year-old kidney. I was so lucky, and it right away. It's just been a wonderful, fairly easy process. You have to recuperate from that, and then so while I'm home recuperating, COVID strikes. I haven't really been out today is 16 months since I've had a transplant.
And you said that the whole story is really amazing on its face, but especially due to the circumstances, and then during the COVID area, that's super scary. I'm sure that was super scary, but you also said that your relationship with them, that is something I wanted to ask about. How is your relationship with the family? Because I know for you, that must have been deep. I was really paying attention to what you were saying about, let me just step back, and because it feels awkward, I'm sure, and you didn't, so how's that going?
Right. So, I've known the little girl since she was like 2. I mean, I was there with her when her grandmother died. Her mom wanted me to sit with her and talk to her, and we went on a trip, and I ran into them in Amsterdam, of all places. So, the relationship. So right after the surgery, maybe 2 weeks after the surgery, the dad, who likes to ride mountain bike, came over, and I showed him my incision on the left side, and I didn't get to see the mom for a while, but they called me or texted me every single day while I was in the hospital, wanting to know my numbers. They wanted to know how their daughter's DNA is doing.
Yeah.
They're like their family.
Yeah.
So I had them over for one of our holidays. I had them come over for lunch. I've seen them quite a few times. Now they're older than the baby, so the baby is taking precedence. I'm very happy for them. Very happy.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
They needed some joy. They needed some joy in their lives.
Absolutely. I commend them.
Beautiful girl, very bright. She was going to start going on for her master's. It was so unexpected. It was so sad.
Very, very sad. But out of that sadness comes life.
Right.
And that is just how God works. Yes, Jamila, what a blessing it was. I mean, that, as we say, that kidney had your name on it. That baby that received her, I believe you said heart and one of her kidneys too?
Yes. Yeah.
So that baby had a lot of health issues going on and that's what I was sharing earlier when I said that, which was the reason why I was expanding my show, because I don't know, but I'm willing to bet that the heart issue led into that baby having possibly kidney issues, or vice versa, oftentimes, because you don't hear that too much. Obviously, the child must have been born with those issues if it was the baby that young. But it's like it all went down because it was by a design, by God's design. And some people, I respect people's beliefs, but that had your name on it, and so did the situation with me and how mine went down with my godson giving me mine. And that's why those other people that we had as potential donors, that's why it fell through, because they weren't the ones he chose. We thought that, and when you want a kidney, you just don't want to be sick anymore,
Right. And I was so fortunate that it didn't happen at the Mayo Clinic in Scottsdale, and I was able to be home.
Mhm.
So many things that it just all worked out beautifully.
Right. All worked out. Yeah. So tell us a little bit. I know we're running closer to our time, but we're fine. Tell us a little bit about the study that you're in at Johns
Okay.
Hopkins.
Johns Hopkins, yes. So I finally was able to get my first vaccine. I got it February 17th. I got Moderna. The second one was, so right before I got the first one, I saw on one of the studies, and it might have been on Jim Meyer's Facebook page. Probably what? I had to have been, because I was the only one I was a member of at that time. Now I'm on a few different ones. And it mentioned about the study. So immediately I signed up for this. And I already did go to my doctor because I was hoping, around Super Bowl time, I had a cold, that maybe I had COVID, a mild case. But I was able to send Johns Hopkins my baseline when I had the antibody test. So I didn't have it. So I had the first shot, the first vaccine, and then 2 days before the second vaccine, because they wanted it within that week, I had my second Moderna vaccine, which was March 17th. So on the 15th, I had the blood draw for the antibody test.
Okay.
While I'm in the waiting room, sitting there for 15 minutes, I get the letter from Johns Hopkins. I didn't have any antibodies. I was like, wow, so disappointing. So a month later, I go for another blood test. I get the letter, no antibody. I'm like, I'm going to do something else. What else? What is the next study? So the next study was to get a third vaccine. So the third vaccine, and then they want 2 weeks after the third vaccine, they want to have 5 vials of blood. So what they're doing with these 5 vials of blood is they're testing the B and the T cells to see if anything is changing within those cells, having these now 3 vaccines.
Okay, so let me back up a little bit and get a little bit of clarity on a couple of things. So two things, and I'll make this all part of one question. So you have had, you got Moderna as your vaccine. You've had 3 vaccinations.
Well,
3.
Moderna I count that as 2. Okay.
Okay.
It's really 1.
Okay.
It's 2. So 1 Moderna, then the second Moderna, then a month later, then in May 4th, I had the J&J.
Oh, so you've had J&J as well. Yeah. Okay. Right. So out of 3 vaccinations, you, to your knowledge, are still showing no buildup of antibodies.
Okay. So just the other day, I found out, I got the letter and it said, you're positive. So I cried, but with
COVID.
No. I'm sorry. Positive for antibodies.
Okay.
So I get a hold of Johns Hopkins. I sent him a text and what does that mean? What is my number and what does that mean? And what they told me is it came out to be 36.5, and which I didn't really know what that meant until they said that they have seen levels up to 2,500 UMLs in non-immunocompromised individuals. So I have 36.5 out of 2,500.
Wow.
So I'm really not safe. I really don't have much of it.
And that's after being vaccinated 3 times.
Yes.
With 2 different types of vaccine.
Yes. I'm ready for number 4, and I'm afraid that they got smart. Now I was able to squeeze in to get my 3rd vaccine. Right now, my doctor, and I did check it all out with my team to see if it was okay, and they said it was fine. But I don't know if I can go ahead and do a 4th one, but maybe later on. But there is studies. There's one in France that they're giving people the 3rd vaccine.
Yeah, I'm hearing about that more and more. And see, this is an example, everybody, of again why it's so critical. Now you, based on what Sue just shared, we are in a very sensitive situation as recipients. I believe that obviously we're not building those antibodies because our immune system is being suppressed by the medication. And I said from the very beginning when this started, Sue, I said when I was not feeling getting it, and I'm having this convo with my nephrologist, and we're very close. I mean, I got a great relation. And I said, I'm not feeling it, Michael, because it doesn't make any sense. It's like two entities fighting against each other.
You're right.
My immune system is suppressed. This is supposed to build it up. This is a new thing. We don't know, and I was really against it. And which is normal. And it was because, when you get a gift like this, when you're smart, you're doing everything that you can to protect it. We have a good life. And we want to preserve this life, you know what I mean? And so I had to really release that and take it to prayer to, allow me to get in a different mindset. But in your testimony of this is what bothers me. This is what I'm like, what good is a third vaccine gonna do if it's not building up anything,
I did get a little something. But then they want me to get tested after 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months. So we're thinking that over time, I might have more antibodies. And that's what they're doing right now. I mean, Johns Hopkins, of course, I went and I talked to an infectious disease doctor. I wanted to know, what else can I do? I have 2 weddings coming up. And one is my husband's son in Scottsdale. I've got a family wedding in September. Do you think I feel safe going on a plane?
Yeah. Okay.
And what are we doing about these masks? Are they going to say you don't have to wear them? I'm in California tomorrow. It's open. It's open.
Yeah. Everywhere is opening up. Illinois. This is a question. This is actually my bestie who lives in Chicago, and she's saying it took 3 vaccines to build antibodies. Should every kidney recipient be tested? I believe they should, Mickey. Yeah. Now, if that's happening, I don't know. I can tell you, I know, like I told you, I haven't been tested for antibodies yet. But to be honest, as far as me, I was kind of apprehensive because I don't want to be upset, thinking, oh my God, I don't have any antibodies. You know what I mean?
However, people need to know.
Yeah.
Are we over? We need to know. We need to know because we can't be out there amongst crowds and get COVID because
that's right.
Get COVID, we can. They might have to. Yes, I was told by my infectious disease doctor I won't die. We'll get monoclonal antibodies, but it's a transfusion. I wanted to get an injection or something to feel safe to go on a plane, but they won't give it to me unless I or my husband comes down test positive for COVID.
Oh wow!
Something we can do to help ourselves, at least for a few months at a time.
Yeah.
And I have friends that, they've had COVID, so they don't think they have to get the vaccine.
Yeah.
And the problem is that if they have anything, they might not get sick, but I could catch anything. I let people, I do go around people that are fully vaccinated, but can I trust it to people that aren't vaccinated? Can I let these people in the house?
That's right. That's right. And Joy said, hey, Joy, another dear friend of mine, she's happy to hear the scientists are studying the efficacy of the vaccine for those on immunosuppressant meds, and prayerfully something effective will be developed for everyone. Amen, Joy.
Absolutely.
And this is why we are so apprehensive, in a lot of ways, and just like you're saying, Sue, you're getting ready to do this traveling now. Again, for me, I don't know if I built up any, but I waited for what's supposed to be my efficacy level. I wanted to see my family, and if it meant that would be my last visit That was important to me. So I have been that recipient when I travel, even before this began. I'm suited and booted with my protection on the flights. You know what I mean? And yeah. Mm-hmm.
But in all fairness, I have read from all these other groups that I'm on that people, the longer you've had, the further away you are from transplant, that they have built antibodies.
Oh, post.
There are people
Gotcha.
that, you know.
Okay.
So there is that. I mean, I know
Yeah.
Regeneron and Remdesivir. I mean, they're all trying to come up with something that we can have, that we can get, which is like a monoclonal.
Yeah.
antibody.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, Candy.
I'm ready to be on any kind of study for that.
Yeah, I understand that. Hi, Candy. Thanks for watching. Candy said I have none, and she had the J&J. For she and her daughter, they didn't get any. Her daughter didn't get any antibodies either. Okay, she has CMV, so she's on antivirals. So yeah, everybody. You know, you're not everybody, but it seems like there's a lot of similarities with us in that. And I understand what you mean, Sue. Remember, I think we touched on that over the phone. That makes sense. You know, I'm over 16 years post, and you are new. You're a newbie, and oh my God, I didn't travel for about 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years after my transplant, maybe about at least a year and a half. I was just so apprehensive about it. You know what I mean? Right. People on the planes, I can tell you that the flights I was on, people were masked up because they announce it. The flight attendant who does the, you know, initial announcement. However, once things get a little relaxed within an hour or so, you see somebody with that snout out, you know, from under the mask, excuse me, you know. And that makes me really uncomfortable. And then I'm ready to go into mode and be like, you know, dude, could you like pull your mask up over your nose, please? You know, or whatever. So yeah, it's hard, you know.
Yeah. I mean, my infectious disease doctor I spoke to, because, you know, my nephrologist didn't think that they can do anything for me. But I felt good talking to her. I felt better. I mean, she told me that, you know, I won't die if I get COVID. You know, as long as I'm not in another country, I can be near a good hospital.
Yeah.
That possibly go first class because there's less people there.
Yeah. More spaced out.
Right.
Yep.
So, you know, just trying to do whatever you can to be safe, and maybe something before September, because I'm not going until September, will miraculously come about and I can feel a little more.
Yeah.
And it's the airport. So I have a friend who's an ER doc, and he said the plane is safe. You know, the air is coming down.
They do say
it's
that.
The airport. It's the airport and everywhere else where you're with a bunch of people that he was more concerned about.
Right. I've heard that as well. So I try to get right to my baggage, you know, still masked up, wash my hands. When I get off the plane, I go in the I mean, there's things you can do to protect yourself as best as you can. And that's all you can do. And then everything else, again, is up to God. So I would say to you, do your trip, just be extra careful, you know, because you still got to live your life. You were blessed with that organ, and God didn't give you that for you to stay stuck, you know, to be in a place where you're stuck. You know what I mean? Okay, Jared, roll in these questions. I know we're running out of time here. Thank you. I didn't see if you've had disease, no shot necessary. I'm not sure what Candy means by that.
So I was told nobody really knows if they've had COVID and they have all these antibodies, can they give it to me? You know, can they give it to me if they were, you know, could they be a carrier for somebody else? Somebody said, yes, they can. Somebody says, no, they can't. I don't know the answer to that. I'd like to know the answer to that.
Yeah. Thank you, Susan, for your knowledge base and transparency. You come across as a white college professor and you're beautiful. Thanks, Mickey. Yeah. And if you wear a mask, you should be okay. Yeah. I taught this for 15 years in the Navy. Hoorah, girl.
You know what I
All
did?
right.
I have to tell you. So I have my infectious disease doctor did say to get a K995 mask. So I have that.
Yeah.
And then I also got, because of all these haters out there, because it's a crazy world we live in right now. I got a mask that says vaccinated, no antibodies.
Oh, I love that. I need one of those.
And then I said, I got a t-shirt that says vaccinated, no antibody, immunosuppressed. Please excuse the mask.
Love it.
You know,
That's right. That's right. So my last question to you, my friend, will be, what would be the best advice that you would give to those who are waiting? Thanks, John. Thanks for watching too. For those who are waiting for a transplant, and I know your situation, that was definitely, again, we're talking about a miracle there. But what's the type of advice that you would give? Because you definitely can give some great advice on that.
Yeah, I would definitely try to lay off the animal protein. Try to be more vegetarian. I mean, I think I would have done it sooner if I knew about that. You can still have your pasta and nuts and whatever. I would have done that. I mean, now I'm eating it all, and my husband's so happy. 3 meals a day, and there's meat in it. Quite a bit. I would do that. That's very important. It's just you're talking about pre-transplant,
right?
That would be number one. Keep up your strength and all that. Maybe you can work on those stomach muscles, because man, it's hard to get out of the bed after your surgery. Holy cow!
Yeah, and they want you out of that bed.
Oh, I got up there, showered, and got dressed. I don't know why. I was in my pajamas. And practice rolling out of the bed. That was
How long were you in the hospital?
3 days. I went in on Friday morning. I went in, and I was out Monday.
I went in Friday.
And Thursday was the day I was supposed to meet with the surgeon about my fistula.
Yes. Yeah. Jamila, she's a vegan and an amazing vegan cook, has her own vegan restaurant. Plant-based is what's happening. That's who turned me on, who's really my mentor for trying my best to become vegan. I mean, I made some great strides, and changes in my life. When I got diagnosed, I never ate beef and pork again, and I still don't.
I don't eat as much. I like chicken. I eat more chicken than anything. But those Beyond Burgers, Beyond Burgers, there's another name for them. There's 2 of them. They're great. Black bean burgers. If you feel like you want to have that meat taste, get a black bean burger. I mean, it definitely kept me from being on dialysis or the transplant longer, and I needed that time. It all worked. Knock on wood.
Yes. Strengthen your immune system naturally on an ongoing basis to fight all to fight all of those issues. I agree. Wear stretchy pants for post-transplant.
I'm still in them. Well, not only you're on these meds, then
we want to wear leggings, Jonathan. Wow. Thanks so much for all the MB Rainbow and food made from scratch.
I've been eating a lot.
Well, you know what, my friend, thank you so much for sharing your wonderful story, and it's so inspiring, and you were definitely just truly blessed. Everybody who gets a transplant is blessed, but
gift of life.
Certain stories, man, you're just like, especially when you know a person, I think that just touches a little differently, your situation. It did for me, and just wow, it was just so intense, but yet so God and ordained, and I always share scripture before we go off the air, and the one that makes me think about, your situation comes from Proverbs chapter 3, verse 27, which says, "Do not withhold good from those whom it is due when it is in your power to act." And that's just me thinking about, and this is for everybody, so it's not just for Sue. I think about, this scripture reminds me of the word honor. This is an honor, a thing about honor here, I think. And it's like, how children honor their parents by being obedient and respectful. At least that's what I like to think is really honorable, for children to be obedient and respectful. And that's one of the greatest things you can do, for a kid can do for their parents. But your friends honored you and your friendship by giving a life-saving organ to you from their dying daughter, who they just the fact of them having to even deal with their daughter dying right in front of them unexpectedly. It's different when people are sick, and that hurts, but you kind of know where it's going. This is unexpected. They didn't know, they're hurting, but yet in the midst of all that pain, they thought of you. They sought you out. Where is Susan? To honor you and your friendship and give you a part of their daughter to save your life. And without hesitation, without any reluctance, that's freaking God. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That's amazing. That's just so amazing. And I just pray that, you are going to, I know you're going to take care of that organ. I know you guys are going to be friends forever. And I just pray that you have a great time when you go and see your family. Don't you worry about anything. You are going to be fine. And I'm praying for your brother too. So let him know that. And if he still wants to talk to me, I'm here for him. Because you definitely are the beacon of light for him. And I know that what you will do is continue to pay it forward to him and others. So thank you, friend. God bless you.
All right. Thanks for having me on. All right.
Yeah. Have a great night. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye. Wow. Thank you, guys. I saw messages coming in. Sometimes I can't grab all of them fast enough when I'm reading. But man, I'm so happy that I opened up and started Bella's Hope for Healing with Sue's story, because excuse me, all these type of things are all a part of how we heal. This can open up so many other things for her to help someone else, to pay it forward, to someone else. And so this is another example of selflessness. And even in, and what I'm trying to get people to see, even what, at LifeLink, and we're still not, we have not started to formulate again, having engagements. But that's one thing we do, is just try to get people to understand that even in death, as much as we love our family, we can't change the situation. And why not save someone's life? And now, through Susan's story, that you can say, if you knew someone or a friend or another family member, and you decided to donate the organs of your loved one, you can delegate some of them. I'm not saying all, and really shouldn't want to go make out a list on every, but just they loved her. And they knew she was in a situation where she was sick and needed it. So God is good all the time. And thank you guys so much. I got another great show coming up. We're going to keep this rolling. That's what I'm saying. It's going to get better and better. And thank you for your support. Please, again, don't forget to hit the share button, smash the like button, guys. Keep supporting me, because I really appreciate it. I'm really out here trying to get this out and doing what I feel God is leading me to do, to help people. So everybody have a good night. I love you and Jesus loves you. And it's nothing you can do about it. Bye.